David, the Mexican monster, Benavidez, completely obliterates Anthony Yarde within 7 rounds to continue his streak, as he also announces he will be going up to cruiserweight. Let's talk about this.
I know you won't swing, but this is the Parry.
This is the Parry.
Hook getting uppercut is getting scary.
Oh, it's getting scary.
Treasure the truth or risk getting buried.
Risk getting killed.
I'm on a mission, you hear me? Yeah, this is the Parry. They got that green light if we say go. Young Tyson, wake him up with the BK flow.
You know.
Loading up late rounds, this is TKO.
David Benavidez, Anthony Yarde. I like Anthony Yarde. Always did. Thought he had a lot of talent. He's built like an action figure. He's a dog. Lions in the comp. I respect him. He only lost to the greats of the division at the time when he fought them. Lost to Kovalev. I believe he was arguably beating Artur Beterbiev before he got put in that fight. But we talking about 2 of the hardest punches like to ever live, bro. Like Kovalev was the crusher. Beterbiev is a goddamn Terminator. And then he steps in the ring against one of my favorite fighters again. Like I said, this card was stacked with some of my favorite fighters to watch. David Benavidez is one of my absolute favorite fighters. And I'm going to do a video on my top 5 favorite fighters. There ain't going to be no pound for pound. It's going to be just my top 5 favorites to watch currently in boxing. And like 2 or 3 of them was on this card. David Benavidez, man, I like his before we even get to the fight, I really respect his mindset. He's a gentleman when he needs to be. Definitely a gentleman. You know what I'm saying? He carries himself with respect. He demands respect. He walked into the room, he shake that man's hand. It was clearly mutual respect, and I like that. It ain't always got to be hate and vitriol and angst and anger and all the smoke before a fight. That's good for the build-up sometimes. But sometimes it's just business. David Benavidez is not sitting around waiting for no opportunity to fight Beterbiev or Bivol. He's going to make his own lane, make his own name towards greatness. He mentioned after this victory, he's going to move up to fight Zurdo Rameriez at cruiserweight, which I believe will set him up to fight. A victory will set him for a fight with the best cruiserweight in the world, with that being Jayo Pataya. And I respect that. I would love to see him fight Beterbiev, though. I think that fight is that's fireworks. But I don't see nobody beating him at super middleweight. I mean, at light heavy, excuse me. Now, Anthony Yarde, David Benavidez. I knew David Benavidez would win. Wasn't sure if he would knock him out. I thought that Anthony Yarde, the experience that he had in these type of fights, that he would be a bit more durable, probably make it to the end, but I thought he would lose. And not to mention, since moving up to light heavyweight, fighting Vajdik, fighting David Morrell, he hasn't stopped anybody in a while. Man, he had Anthony Yarde face looking like the Elephant Man after that fight. Like David Benavidez, top 10 pound for pound.
Well, Anthony Yarde was like an overcar. Shout out to Overcar.
That's fair.
His name a few times, but he was like an Overcar. You know, he beat everybody that he fought except for the best that he fought. Like you said, he was arguably ahead of the Better Beef when they fought. You know, he was an interesting fighter. You know, he was somebody who could make this fight interesting, but I didn't see him, you know, showing anything that made me think he actually had a chance going up against someone like Benavidez. I think that it's a travesty now that he's out, now that Yarde is out of the way, that we're not going to see a Better Beef. A Bivol.
Benavidez.
A Bivol Benavidez fight. I think that that's a travesty that we're not going to see that. And that would be for all the marbles. And that's what, to me, that's one of the biggest fights in boxing that makes sense. I think that's a fight that's, you know, as an American boxing fan, a lot of people might not see the value in that fight. except for, knowing Benavidez as a world champion. But that's a world fight right there. That's a true world title fight right there. When you're talking about world best fighting each other, and I think that Benavidez Bivol should be Benavidez's next fight. I don't know if he's too big for that. We know that he's stepping up to cruiserweight, which is 25 pound. Well, it's technically 1 pound difference when he steps into cruiserweight now at 176, but we know that it's a 25-pound limit difference from weight classes. So I think that, and cruiserweight division is an interesting division in itself. So I don't even think that he's taking an easy route going into the cruiserweight division. There was a time where, the cruiserweight division was the complete stepchild of boxing since its inception. Right. And, even with champions like Dwight Muhammad Qawi or Evander Holyfield, who was the first unified, undisputed cruiserweight champion, or later on we had people like Vasily Jirov and
Alexander Usyk,
James Toney, Alexander Usyk, all cruiserweight champions and like people like James Toney, it was like a latter year, it was one of the in the twilights of their career type of things, but anyway, just to move forward, I could go on about the cruiserweight division. You got, he's going after Gilberto Rameriez. He's going after Zurdo. I think that's the safest champion to go. I don't know, Badu Jack, either one. I think Badu Jack. I think either one of them. Definitely, Opataya is definitely probably not the immediate route to go if you're gonna step up that high in division. But I'm pretty sure David Benavidez walks around at about 210 pounds.
Easy. He's probably 200 pounds in the ring last night. Easy.
Exactly.
He walks around that kind of, easy.
Exactly. So for him to announce that he's going up to cruiserweight isn't a big deal. But it's one of those that, to me, you're fighting that cruiserweight. I'm only scratching my temple thinking, damn, you're not interested in trying to really go up there and see what it's about with them big boys? You're not scratching your temple saying, yo, I'm up here with the 200 pound. I mean,
that's where I was going next. That was gonna be my next question. And you was like, are we going to see David Benavidez move up to heavyweight?
Yeah, because it makes me think, for you to say, you know what, I'm not even gonna look towards Bivol. I'm not even gonna I'm gonna move up to cruiserweight. I'm gonna go after a champion at cruiserweight. So I'm staying at a certain level of competition. I'm going after one of the champions. But is that just a stop? Is that just a step? Just let me see how it is with these big boys, and then look over the horizon and say, you know what? Because Usyk, you mentioned Usyk we was mentioning great cruiserweight champions, and Usyk is not a big heavyweight. And sizing up a David Benavidez and a Usyk, that's like, I don't know the exact dimensions how they match up, but as far as that could be a matchup for David Benavidez, that's a possible fight. It reminds me of Roy Jones when he was toying with the idea of facing Evander Holyfield for all those years, and then he eventually, as we know, went up to see John Ruiz. But the idea and the possibility was all based on the fact that I'm looking at a dude who, he was damn near middleweight in the Olympics. I'm looking at a crew. He started his career as cruiserweight, and that's when cruiserweight was still 190.
Right.
That's when the limit was 190. And so
I feel like a move
that would be a great super fight over the horizon somewhere. But go ahead.
Ja Opataya is a great fighter. Damn good cruiserweight champion. But there's no big names. There's no draws in that division to really bring excitement to that division. Ja Opataya versus David Benavidez does that. Zurdo Rameriez is just, I'm sorry, like, I like Zurdo. He's not beating David Benavidez. He's not. Ja Opataya is really good, slick, southpaw. I don't think he's beating David, but that's a good fight. I want to see it. I don't see him beating David Benavidez. I feel like this is really just a notch on my belt Let me check that box off before I get to heavyweight. Now, why does it make sense for David Benavidez to move up to heavyweight? Because the fights that you couldn't get at super middleweight, at light heavy, which is the Canelo Alvarez fight, which would have been the biggest fight in boxing, huge. That fight is not going to happen. Clearly, Bivol, Beterbiev don't want that smoke. I believe they're having a third fight. They don't want that smoke. Bivol been in the ring with Benavidez for years. They've been in camps together, sparring. He knows what this man is made of. He knows what time it is with him. You move up to heavyweight. Well, again, there's no big names in cruiserweight. It's a big fight with Jao Opetaia, but that's just a box to check off on your resume. On your way to heavyweight. Now, why move to heavyweight? That's where the big fights is at. If you make that run and get up to heavyweight, one of them dudes is going to have to fight you. If you coming up as a champion, one of these guys at some point going to have to fight you. The Usyks, the Anthony Joshua's, the Joseph Parkers, the Dubois,
Moses Fury's fighting as well.
Tyson Fury, the Moses C. Thomas, who's coming up. You may have to run through David Benavidez to do something.
I'm gonna be 100 with you. I think all those fights are extremely dangerous for David Benavidez. Absolutely. Extremely dangerous. And the funny part about it is because the person that I would pick, I would fancy him to fight over anybody else that you name is number 2 on most pound for pound list, and that's Oleg Usyk.
You
know what I mean? He is the and that's only because I'm really looking at size matchup, and I'm looking really set. That's it. I'm looking at how they match up dimensionally, size wise.
Okay,
but Usyk has shown and proved that he belongs in there with them big guys though, and he can handle them big guys. So that right there, whereas we've never seen Benavidez up against, we never seen him possibly outweighed by 30 pounds in a fight. Whereas we seen Usyk versus Fury, where he was completely, even Joshua, we're talking about fighters who completely bigger than this guy.
Right. I feel there's nobody that's beating David Benavidez on his way to heavyweight. But once he gets to heavyweight, see, that's where that's where it's like, okay, who are you for real now? Like, Anthony Joshua is an interesting fight. I think Joshua's size, against he's 6'5" compared to David Benavidez 6'2", 240. Sometimes he came in the ring at 265, muscle. It's a big man, yo. But I think skill set, I can't see Anthony Joshua winning that fight unless he hits him with something. And, Benavidez proves he can't take the power. But I could see him also knocking out somebody like Anthony Joshua, right? Joseph Parker. I think Joseph Parker, again, a big guy, got some skill. I don't know if he beats David Benavidez, even at heavyweight. But where it starts to get sketchy, where I start to be like, that might be too much for David, is when you start getting to the Usyks and the Tyson Furies of the world. Because that style of David Benavidez, that come forward pressure style, that can possibly work against somebody like Anthony Joshua, even though he may be the smaller man. But the volume punching of David Benavidez, his punch selection, which is excellent a lot of times. And he proves to have a good chin. He could possibly beat an Anthony Joshua, a Joseph Parker, a Daniel Dubois. But when you start talking about
show that he can hurt these guys too, though.
Fair. But when I'm looking at dimensions, I'm also considering the skill set. Now, when you start talking about somebody like an Alexander Usyk now, who can box circles around you, footwork is impeccable, and he can crack a little bit. Southpaw, and he's a 2-time undisputed heavyweight champion. I don't know if that might be too big for your britches. When you start talking about Tyson Fury, this dude is a monster. Got good feet, Good jab, good head movement. He's not, even if you try to walk him down and throw all them shots at him, like his defense and ability to slip punches, and the man walks around 300 pounds. Like, I don't know. I think it gets sketchy when you get up to that top level of heavyweight, but I can see him making a nice run from light heavy all the way through the heavyweight, beating some heavyweights, maybe even grabbing a chip. But when you get to that top level, that's where it's like, whew, I don't know if he's able to pull off a victory over Tyson Fury or over Alexander Usyk, that will cement your name among the all-time greats. In the hell with a Canelo fight. You didn't need a Canelo fight. You didn't need a Bivol or Benavidez matchup. You went right to heavyweight. You fought the big names. You beat them. Became champion. He will be the third Mexican heavyweight champion, if I'm not mistaken. Right? Andy Ruiz, John Ruiz. He will be the third. John Ruiz is Puerto Rican. He'd be the second. That's right. Andy Ruiz was the first Mexican heavyweight champion. My fault. I knew that.
He will be the second heavyweight titleist.
Here we go. You know what I'm saying, man. We saying the same thing, man. You know what I'm saying.
Oleg Moskav is now. If he beats Oleg Moskav, not Moskav. I be getting all these guys with these 20 names confused. Pardon me. Shout out to Oleg Moskav, though, former heavyweight champion from over there. But if he gets Usyk, if he beats Usyk, then yes, he's the official first Mexican champion. Officially, he'll be the of course he'll be the.
You can't say that, bro. That's wrong, man. Anthony Joshua was unified, bro. He had like 3 of the 4 belts. Andy Ruiz.
He had 2 of the belts.
Andy Ruiz. He had the IBF, WBA, the WBO.
That's right.
He had all 3. I remember Deontay Wilder had the WBC.
Yeah, he got all of them belts from Klitschko.
From Klitschko.
Yeah, he got all of them belts from Klitschko.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So you can't say he'll be the first real Mexican champ. Andy Ruiz, I mean, clearly, I do feel to be the champ, you got to defend that title. Andy Ruiz won the title, then lost it the next fight. Cool, but technically he won't. He was the first.
You win the title. You know, Buster Douglas won the title, so he was still the champ. He even had a video game after him, so So he was still a champ.
He's more known for beating Mike Tyson than for being a champion.
Mike Tyson was the champ.
Now I get that, but he wasn't. But Buster Douglas is not known as like, or who are some of the we don't even talk about him as a champion.
He's not considered a great champion at all.
We talk about him as beating Mike Tyson, not for being a champion.
I understand that, but what I mean is, though, he was at one time the undisputed champion of the world. Was he not? He was the undisputed champion.
I get it. And his next fight got dog walk, but it's neither here nor there, man. Yo, let me just remind everybody, got to jab that like button, uppercut that subscribe button, lead hook that share button, throw a combination at the notification bell so you can stay updated when we drop new content. And please follow us on all forms of social media that you see, you know what I'm saying, on the top of the screen.
Actually, now we're going to show you how to catch the jab. Actually, in boxing, it's called parrying.